What you're about to listen to is a Bry-Fy production.
Yo, it's Bry-Fy coming live through your Wi-Fi. One-man show, but I'm feeling like a sci-fi. Comic books, video games, catching them all. Pokemon cards stacked, yeah, I'm ready to brawl. From Marvel to DC, I break it all down. Nifty nerd news, got the geeky rundown. Pop culture hits, movies and shows. I stay in the know while the fandom grows. So plug in, tune up, press play, let's ride. This is the Bry-Fy, baby, welcome to the vibe.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Bry-Fy podcast. I'm your host, Bry-Fy, your Pokemon Legends ZA guy, and this is episode 153 of the Bry-Fy podcast. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so excited today. We do have something to review, of course. If you haven't figured out from the intro, we're going to be talking finally about Pokemon Legends Z to A, which has been out for a while now, but I've kind of had it on the back burner. I didn't want to play it. My wife got me Borderlands 4, so I was playing through that game and then finally finished it, and then I just went into Pokemon ZA. Tried to stay as spoiler-free with it till I could play it. So, I tried to not look up too many things about it, didn't know too much about the characters. So I felt like I did a really good job of staying away from it until I got into the game. And then I, went full deep dive into Pokemon ZA. And we'll talk about that for the review portion of the podcast. But up first, gotta talk about some nifty nerd news. Let's get into that. All right, guys, so up first in the nifty nerd news, we're actually going to talk about some sports, which is interesting. there are sports nerds out there, and I'm one of them. I really do enjoy sports and things of all athletic things. Well, maybe not all athletic things. I do. If you've seen me, I don't enjoy all athletic things, but there are some things that I do enjoy, mostly drama. So I don't know if you guys know, but the Winter Olympics are coming soon. And if I'm not mistaken, they're in Spain whatever the next one is. I don't know if it's this year or next year. But the Winter Olympics, I believe, are going to be in Spain, Milan. I don't know where that's at. I'm not very good. I'm not a geography nerd, okay? But what's been very interesting about it is some of the drama and just pettiness, which has been, I don't know, depending on how you feel about things, could be amazing and then maybe not amazing. So there was, I guess, bobsled or like luge or skeleton. It's one of the sledding sports where they get on a sled and go down a giant ice tube at crazy speeds and then try to be the fastest to do it, right? Well, going up and to qualify for the Olympic Games, you have to compete in tournaments. And in those tournaments, you earn points like throughout the tournament season. And when you earn enough points, you then are now qualified to go to the Winter Olympics. And so that's how it works. You get points, get enough points, go to the Olympics. Why is that part of the drama and why is that a problem? Well, one of the Olympic sledders is very close to getting the points that they need. And she only needed, I can't remember how many she needed, but the way or how many points you get, one depends on how you finish in the tournament. So if you do really bad, you don't get a lot of points. If you do really well, you get like the maximum points that whatever you can receive. And how do you know what the maximum number of points you receive is? Well, that depends on the number of competitors in that tournament. So like, I'm just throwing out numbers. If there's 5 competitors in the tournament, you get, who knows, 5 or 10 points. 20, like you get 40, like something like that. So like if there are more competitors in this tournament, meaning there's more competition, you earn more points for winning that tournament. And this Olympic sledder is very good, I guess, is doing very well in this tournament because let's face it, if she was doing very well all season, she probably wouldn't need this tournament to qualify because it's like one of the last ones before the Olympics from what I've read. So, take that with whatever you want to. But So she needs like a hundred something points to qualify for the Olympics. With the number of people in the competition or scheduled to be in the competition, she's going to reach that mark if she can win. Which, spoiler alert, she does win the tournament. However, she does not qualify for the Olympics. Why is that? Well, Team Canada, which had a couple of sledders in this tournament, decided they don't need it. Their teams have actually already qualified for the Olympics and decided we don't need to be here, whether it was to save their athletes from potential injury or exhaustion, let them rest for the Olympics, or if it was to be really petty against the United States because they're like, well, if you need us to be here in order to qualify, we just don't have to be here because we did our job earlier this season. Where were you, right? And I don't know how the tournament thing works. Like if this person can only go to so many tournaments and missed a bunch and was really banking on this last one to make it, I don't know, but she was really banking on everyone being there. And when the people who had already qualified decide they don't need to be there, she was kind of shit out of luck. Wasn't able to secure enough points to qualify. I don't know if there's one last tournament that they can attempt to go to potentially qualify, or if that's it. Their Olympic, quote unquote, Olympic dreams are over. And the reason why I say quote unquote, after learning more about this sledder, it turns out if she would have made it, this would have been like her 5th year of going to the Olympics. And if you remember, like the Olympic Games, summer and winter, are every 4 years. Like they have a Winter Olympics every 4 years. So 4 Olympics every 4 years. So like for the last 16 to 20 years, they've been competing on the world stage Olympic wise. Like, I mean, at this point, it's not really like a dream to go to the Olympics. You've been going to the Olympics, right? I don't know how they've been doing at the Olympics, but so I don't know. Like, I get you're upset, and I get, hey, I needed this to be able to go another time. But at the same time, it's kind of like I said, these other teams, the ones who didn't compete but were still qualified for the Olympics, they did their job, right? They went to other tournaments, got enough points, and secured their spots for the Olympics already. Where this person, where were you? You know, I mean, I also to some extent understand, you know, these athletes and the people who do all the Olympic trials and qualifying and trying to earn the points to get to the Olympics. The country, their government, like their Olympic committees, whether even like USA or wherever country you're from, they don't typically just sponsor you your whole time while you're trying to earn points through the season. Basically, they don't want to waste money on you until you're proven, hey, you're going to be able to go to the Olympics, and then they'll waste money on you, right? It's in some ways it's kind of sad. In another way, I guess it's some way to even the playing field between all the countries, is that the country doesn't sponsor you until you make it to the Olympics. But I guess you could earn other sponsors and other things to that point. So I don't know. I mean, I get it's a lot of money to go to the Olympics or to train for the Olympics and do all the tournaments to qualify for the Olympics. And if you really want to know what that's like, you can follow Olympic athletes on TikTok, which I have been doing, and they've been talking and being very open about like the financial situations that they're in and how much money it takes to even just do practices. Because who has like a giant ice luge in their backyard? Very like rare if that's a thing, right? And to make it simulate or be as close as possible to what you would see at the Olympic tracks or anything like that, it's almost impossible to build something like that financially and just the logistics of it all, right? So you go to tracks to practice and get better and things like that, and that costs money because last I've heard, you don't just get to go on the ice for free, right? Like if I want to go practice ice skating, I don't just get free ice where I live. I have to go to an ice rink and pay money to go on said ice rink. And then if I have a coach, I got to pay the coach to teach me. And so I can only imagine what it's like at that scale and that level of competition, how much everything costs for you. It's not good. So yeah, man, is Team Canada in the right or wrong? Honestly, I don't think they're in the wrong. I don't think it's unsportsmanlike. I don't think it's anything. Like, you did your job to get qualified for the Olympics, and now whether it's being petty or whether it's actually resting your athletes, you don't have to compete, man. Like, you see it in like American professional sports, like teams that are like, finishing up the regular season, going into the playoffs, and they've already secured their spot. They're guaranteed like first round buys or, number one seed type stuff. They're going to rest their players. They're not going to risk hurting their star athletes for a game that is essentially meaningless, which I feel like is the same way that the Canadian sleds teams are thinking about this tournament. It's a meaningless tournament for them. Why bother with it? They did their job. Anyway, moving on to the other bit of sports nifty nerd news. This one's a lot more wholesome. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is a professional football team here in the United States, which I don't know why I say that, like my audience is like I don't know why I'm telling you guys like you're all international. I mean, some of you might be, I don't know. But anyway, professional American football team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were in their playoff game. They had a really good season, so they were like ranked pretty high, had a really good team going in, and very high hopes for what was their playoffs were going to be like. Well, they lost in their first round and got knocked out. And after games, all professional teams, they have interviews with journalists and things like that. So they do like these press conferences, talk about the game and get asked questions and all that. Well, one of the reporters, her name is Lynn Jones from the Jacksonville Free Press. She's been doing it for a long time. She's been in the game for a long, long time and been in press for a long, long time. She talked to the coach, didn't ask him questions or anything, but she gave him a lot of positive affirmations and things, like, hey, you did good. You know what? I'm going to put it here so you can listen to what this woman said to this man, and just go ahead.
How you doing today? Lynn Jones, Jacksonville Free Press News. I just want to tell you congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank you.
You hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank you.
And you did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all
Thank
right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take
it.
care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am.
See how wholesome that was? That was amazing. Like, I would love for some older woman to just tell me, you did good, kid. Like you should be proud of yourself. Hold your head up high. This, like, man, that just feels awesome, right? Well, unfortunately, not everyone in the press thought so. In fact, some people took to social media that were in the press to complain about this because they're like, well, she just wasted everyone's time. She didn't ask a question or anything. But so what, man? Like, she's a newspaper reporter or a reporter from the city that this team is from. And, like, sometimes after a loss, like a tough loss, especially something in the playoffs, like you were expected to be this and it didn't happen, or like, it's just nice to have some reassurance, man, because like the whole time during the press conferences, people just talk about, so what'd you think about the loss? How did it feel to, like, basically like not tearing into him, but like reminding him like, wow, you guys didn't live up to expectations, or this and that, right? And actually, I don't even know if the Jacksonville Jaguars were supposed to be as good this year as they actually were, but they were really good this year. I think they won the AFC South, or like were the top finisher in the AFC South. But like, it's one thing to kind of be mad, like, oh, God, look at this woman. She just took up my like valuable question space. It's another thing to go on social media to then try to put this lady on blast for being nice and for being uplifting and for being just how we should be as humans to other humans. Like, it's just really funny. Like, I get like, hey, it's my job and I gotta get questions and stuff like that. But like, from the way the interview seemed, like, yeah, there's probably a time limit, but everyone got to say one thing. And it wasn't like she took up a lot of time. What you listened to was the entire exchange from start to finish with, with Miss Lynn Jones and the coach. The coach's name is Liam Cohen. And actually, this is his first year as a head coach. And he took his team to the playoffs, won their division. So, like, I agree with her. Like, hold your head up, dude. You did phenomenal. You did really well. So, I don't know, man. I think the people who are complaining about her and who are upset for her being nice and not doing her job, quote unquote, I think that speaks more volumes to those people and their attitudes and their personalities than it does to her. Like, she seems like a saint and someone you want in your corner. And like, she's even gone on to like say, like, look, I've been in this thing for a long time. Like, you guys are doubting my credentials and my professionalism. Well, I'm here to tell you, I've been a professional for decades, longer than most of y'all have been. Like, I'm just paraphrasing. She did not actually say that, but like, I mean, she's been in the game for a long time. She's like been here since like the start. Like, I can't remember how long she's been doing this, like 50 years, I think, from what she said in an interview. And so it was like, you question my professionalism and question like the way I want to conduct myself. Grow up. So I stand behind her, man. And the fact, if I could get her to just review my podcast, tell me I'm maybe not even review, just tell me I'm doing okay, right? Like, I look at the numbers, I know what it's really like, but I just need some older lady to just uplift me, please. Moving on, let's talk a bit about some movies. Speaking of uplifting, being uplifted with money. I know that was a terrible segue, but there is a new highest grossing actor in town, or actress in town, to give you a little bit of hint. This person has been in tons of major blockbuster movies that have totaled billions of dollars. So like, I mean, this is great. And so what it means though to be the highest grossing actor or actress does not mean you personally make that money. It's that the films that you have been in make that money, right? And so there's one actress who has been in all the major hits, from Avengers to Avatar to Star Trek to my favorite, Drumline. And I'm thinking with that one, you can guess who I'm talking about. Zoe Saldana. She is now the highest grossing actor of all time because of the movies that she's been in. You know, like Robert Downey Jr. was close, but he's not in Avatar, right? I mean, she's also in Pirates of the Caribbean, so she gets credits for those. And like I said, it's not like money that she has made personally. It's the movies that she's been in, the money that they have grossed, which attribute to her. So, you know, it's like me, if I was playing on a professional team, I'm probably not going to be the best player on the team, but if that team that I'm on wins Super Bowls or wins world championships, I get credited for being on that team for winning world championships, but even though it wasn't me who actually did it, right? Not saying that she didn't deserve the praise, like that she wasn't the reason why these movies were good, because I like Zoe Saldana as an actress, as an actor, and I think she does a really good job. I think her characters in all these movies that I mentioned are the highlights of a lot of these movies. And so you know what? Good on her. God, Avatar, Avengers, Star Trek, like these are huge things. Like the only thing that could have made it even bigger if she was in Lord of the Rings somehow, right? Like that would have, I don't know, that's insane. But moving on, let's talk a little bit about games. Some big news for me with games. It looks like Ubisoft has announced The Division 3, which I'm really excited for. If you've been a part of my podcast for long enough and you've watched my game streams and everything, you know that I am a huge fan of The Division, that whole series. Been playing The Division 2 a lot. Haven't played too much recently because of other video games that we're going to talk about later, but big fan of the Division series. And now Ubisoft has confirmed that they are in production with The Division 3, and they're promising it's going to be the biggest and baddest Division game that they're going to make. But of course, you got to say that, right, with every new game. I'm curious. You know, The Division, of course, is a cover-based third-person shooter, looter shooter. So it's a lot like, I guess Destiny. It would be a game that I feel like might be a little more popular. That it's like Destiny, but more grounded in real world. Although there's, a sci-fi element to it, right? Because a lot of the technology that's used, I hope it's not. Well, I don't know. It probably is in development. I don't know. It's scary, but it's definitely a more grounded, more realistic looter shooter than Destiny is. Of course, like I said, it's cover based, and so taking cover and using cover is a little more helpful than it is probably in games like Destiny or anything like that. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. And the story of it is basically a terrorist group gives us a virus that wipes out a ton of people. It's essentially COVID-19 if it was a game and things went really, 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 really bad, like in infrastructure and logistics and all that. And now people are just like living in like desolate cities trying to survive, because it's kind of like a survival game too, but without a lot of the big survival aspects of it. But I don't know. It's a really good game. I've always enjoyed it. And I think if you haven't played it, you should give it a shot, or at least check it out on YouTube and see if it might be something worth for you. But one of the big things with it is always like the locations of the game, and just those are really fun story elements. Like the first game took place in New York City during the winter, so everything's like covered in snow and death, and like, I don't know, it was really cool. Game 2 kind of warmed things up by taking you to Washington, D.C., but it was really cool because you got to see like a lot of those really cool monuments and touristy places to go to in Washington, D.C. So everyone's big question is, where's the Division 3 going to take us? Is it going to be like a city like Chicago? Are we going to go to the West Coast? Which, I mean, I feel like a lot of games go to the West Coast, so why not stay on the East Coast? You can go to like Philly, Boston, or maybe come down to where we live, like Houston, Dallas, or Austin. Like, I would love games based in Texas. I think that'd be really cool because I feel like there's a lot there to it. And like Houston is really flooded, or potential for flooding. You could have a hurricane hit and like cause the disaster along with like the virus thing, and kind of play with that. But we don't really know what they're going to do or where it's going to take place timeline wise of the video games. Like, of course, the first Division game takes place like soon after the virus kind of like destroys the cities, and then you find out that there was a first Division group that went in to try to establish order and everything, and they pretty much got wiped out. Things went really bad. So you're the second wave of Division agents trying to clean up and figure out what happened and try to fix things. In Division 2, it's kind of like you're the first Division wave to go into Washington, D.C., it appears, but things are taking place after events that happened in New York, it seems like. So, I don't know. It's a really interesting, weird timeline that they put, because like it almost, I almost feel certain it's well after New York. I don't know how many months after New York that Washington, D.C. takes place. And most companies love to have their third games either be prequels or something, or like further off, I don't know, or like directs you. I don't know what's going to happen. And I really don't know what's going to happen with the Division 3. We do have some ideas based on what they're announcing for the Division 2, because they've announced some new game modes. One of them is a realism mode, which is supposed to lower time to kill, give caliber-based weapon damage. So depending on the bullet caliber of the gun, it will do more or less damage, which the game kind of does already, but not to that extent. I mean, the game's mostly like, I don't know, like Diablo or like an RPG fighting system in a way. Not like, I mean, it's a third person shooter, don't get me wrong, but like the damage and things like that, it's very RPG based elements. So what it kind of seems like is like, you know, you're shooting this guy who's a boss, but you're like unloading hundreds of rounds into him to kill him. So like, you know, it takes some of the realism out, right? When, you know, you got a bullet spongy boss that you're just trying to wear down with, you know, a friggin' light machine gun that's got who knows what size, like 50 cal rounds, and he's just tanking hundreds of those. So I understand like some of the realism aspect gets pulled away from that, but like I said, it's more of a RPG looter shooter than it really is like a realistic, like a Call of Duty or a Battlefield type thing. But with this realism mode, it looks like they're trying to get you closer to that, but maybe not all the way to that. Who knows? I mean, they did talk about like headshot kills, doing like extensive damage, potentially one-shotting enemies, like guaranteed type thing. But I don't know. We'll have to see what happens when realism mode gets implemented. But could this be them trying out this mode to maybe move to the next game, and like maybe the next game has a more realist part to it. Because if you look at Ubisoft and all their other Tom Clancy games, so the Division is a Tom Clancy game. A lot of the Tom Clancy stuff prides itself on realistic weaponry and realistic things like that. So the Division, sorry, that's a tongue twister for me. The Division is very far off from that. I mean, it's got realistic guns and weapons and things like that, but like as far as like damage and killing people or shooting people and killing bad guys, definitely not very realistic with that. So it'll be interesting to see how that mode plays out, and maybe it'd be really fun. I think one of the things I kind of miss the most is I don't play a lot of multiplayer, because a lot of other guys who play the game, or people who play the game, have their character builds very well maxed out, and I'm just trying to have fun, and so I end up just getting ganked anytime I go into any PvP area. So I usually stick around the PvE areas and don't really put myself out there because I'm scared. And I'm also trying to have fun playing a game, right? So I don't want to go somewhere where I'm just getting wiped out all the time. I want to have fun. Speaking of having fun, Pow World is just doing their own thing now. Like, they are going crazy. So, of course, Pow World, we know, is kind of like the better looking survival game version of Pokemon that we've seen. It's a survival game, but you're able to capture monsters with these capsule balls, and then you can use them to fight, help you craft, and gather resources and other things. So it's like a really involved version of what Pokemon could be, and it has nicer graphics, way better graphics. And so, a lot of people have complained about Pokemon and stuff like that. We'll get into that a little bit later because of the graphics and things like that. And so Pow World to them has been like a huge, like, shining example of what like the Pokemon games could be. Well, of course, we've talked about in the past, in a couple of episodes ago, Nintendo and Game Freak did not, well, I don't know if it was Game Freak specifically, but Nintendo did not take kindly to Pow World, because they're like, hey, you're taking our thing. Like, this is our thing. This is what we do. We have capsules that capture monsters. So they tried to sue them, and Pow World didn't lose. Pow World actually won the suit, or Nintendo had to drop it because, as it turns out, I guess you can't really copyright capturing monsters in capsules. Like, I don't know. Like, I got to look at it again, what the actual ruling was. But basically, Pow World can continue on and do what they want to do. And do what they want to do is exactly what they are doing, because now Pow World has just announced that they are getting into the trading card game. And I don't know if they're just trolling now. Like, if they're just like really like, all right, Pokemon, stop us now, because basically we are like Pokemon game. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just crazy, because now it seems like you're literally poking the bear and just asking for it. If Nintendo has assassins that they can hire, they probably will. A bunch of Greninja are going to jump into your world and kill you. But it's just interesting, man. The game's supposed to come out this year, July 30th of 2026. The cards, which I've seen pictures of them already, not very close to Pokemon cards. I would say they remind me more of Lorcana cards, the Disney card game that's out. But the other thing is, like, how successful can Pow World really be? Like, Pow World has a very huge or a very voiced fan base, I'll say that. I don't know how big the player base is to it, and I don't really see Pow World things in my feeds or anywhere else, other than like I hear about it from time to time, like, oh yeah, Pow World's a thing. Or really the only like reason I hear about Pow World is because Nintendo is trying to sue Pow World, but I don't hear people really talking about it in my day-to-day, so I don't know how big the fan base truly is. And so I don't know how well a card game will really do. And not saying that they won't be successful, but it's just, to me, it's not a hugely popular IP, like vastly popular IP. So it's going to be a struggle. And the game's only been out for, I don't even know how long, maybe like 4 years at most, 3 or 4 years. So it feels like it's moving too fast. It feels like it really, like, it sounds mean and elitist, but it sounds like Power World believes it's bigger than it really is. But then again, it could be my own ignorance that doesn't truly understand that Power World is a really popular game. I don't know, but I don't feel like it's that popular because I don't hear about it a lot in my day to day, right? And so, but that could be bias, because like my algorithm is been built brick by brick by myself, and so that's why I probably hear a lot more about the Division and Halo, and even though I don't think there's anything new with Halo, and that Asume horse game that's, I don't know, I don't want to talk about that. No. But so, I mean, we'll see, man. Who knows? They could shock me, but most trading card games that come out are gone, We've seen Lorcana come onto the scene really strong. Disney's a vastly popular franchise, whatever you want to call Disney. It's its own global phenomenon, right? Almost to that of Pokemon. So it made sense to them. Like, hey, yeah, Disney should have a card game with all our favorite characters. And I think they've done a decent job with Lorcana, but again, it's really fallen off since like the first couple of sets, and it seems like they're printing out new sets like every month. Like they just go through sets of cards. So I don't play like the card games. I don't know what the tournament scene is like with it. As far as the collectability goes, there are still cards that are highly collectible and vastly sought after. And if you pull them, could get you a lot of money. I have issues finding Lorcana in my Walmart. So it's got to be popular, at least to scalpers. But we'll see, man. We'll see how it plays out. I guess when I think of Power World and their card game, I think of MetaZoo, which just like went bankrupt and is now no longer making cards and things. And I almost feel like Power World is just another MetaZoo in a way. And so like I'm like, this is gonna fail. Like my initial reaction to Power World making their own card game is that it's going to fail. It's not going to be that good. And because either it's not going to do something innovative to set itself apart from Pokemon, and it's too much like Pokemon that it's just going to fail, I think. On the off chance that it doesn't, I hope it gets extremely successful, super popular, and everyone wants to buy. Actually, that's what, you know what? It's going to be a great, phenomenal game. Everyone's going to love it. It's going to be the best. Cards are going to be worth the most money. So you should just stop buying Pokemon. If you're listening to me, don't buy Pokemon. Stop buying Pokemon. You don't need to buy it. No one wants it. Please stop buying Pokemon so I can buy it. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, that's all that I have for the Nifty Nerd News today. So thank you guys for listening so much. What do y'all think? Do you think that reporter was wrong for just trying to, uplift another human being? Do you think Canada was in the wrong for dropping out of a race so USA couldn't qualify for the Olympics? What do you think about Division 3? Do you play the Division? Maybe listening to me made you interested in it. You can ask me for my gamer tag. We can play together. I play now on PC along with Xbox, so we can do either or. And Power World. Is Power World going to be the TCG Pokemon killer? Who knows? Probably not. But if it means I can get Pokemon cards, yes, it's going to be the best and you should buy it. Anyway, that's it for the Nifty Nerd News, guys. Let's move on to what I want to review for the week.
DC, I break it all down. Nifty Nerd News got the geeky rundown. Pop culture hits, movies and shows. I stay in the know while the fandom grows. So plug into, not press play, let's go. This is the Bry-Fy, baby. Welcome to the show.
All right, guys, thanks for sticking around for the review portion of the podcast. Of course, since we talked about Power World, we're obligated to now talk about Pokemon. No, but today we are going to talk about Pokemon Legends Z to A. I finally went through, I've caught the legendaries as of this recording, like just before the recording, caught the legendaries, and I was like, you know what? It is time. It is time to talk about the game because I think I've seen all that I want to see. And I haven't seen all that there is. I haven't done any PvP yet because I've seen some of it. I ain't want no part of it, man. If you listen to me talk about the Division and how I felt about PvP in that, I feel just insert Pokemon now. And I probably feel the exact same way about PvP in that game. But yeah, so let's talk about Pokemon Z to A. Of course, This is part of the Pokemon Legends franchise or series, you want to call it. The first one was Arceus, Pokemon Legends Arceus, which dropped you back in time and really changed kind of how the Pokemon game was played. A true open world concept. I think prior to that, we had Pokemon Sword and Shield, which was still a linear game, but had a specific area that you could load into that was open world. It was sparsely populated and just, it was okay. I mean, at the time you were excited because it was like the first open world Pokemon game. So you're like, wow, this is really cool. But looking back on it, it was small. There wasn't a lot of diverse Pokemon in it. I mean, there was some Pokemon, but there wasn't much to do in there. So it was just an area that you go, much like a Safari Zone type area for like Pokemon, except open world, right? I mean, that's really what it was. It was like the Safari Zone, and it was kind of cool, but it was fenced in sort of feeling. Pokemon Legends Arceus came out, in which now that gave you true open world feel to it. However, you had to load into different areas. So if you wanted to go to the winter area, you loaded in, the swampy area, you loaded in, and just like different areas. So you couldn't just like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom walk to these areas like you do. You had to load into those areas. So kind of like, whatever. But it was still an open world concept. The areas were filled with a whole bunch of things and a whole bunch of Pokemon. And what was really cool about Pokemon Legends Arceus was the catching mechanic. When you played with the regular Pokemon games, you walk in the grass, you have to fight a Pokemon, or you could immediately throw a Pokeball, and then that was it. So, you either weaken it and then you throw a Pokeball to catch it to make, you weaken it to make the chances of catching it stronger, or you could try to throw a ball immediately to try to catch it, but it might not always work. And then you just, spam Master Balls because you did that glitch to give you an infinite amount. I know you know me. We all do it. And so you don't have to worry about that. No, but Legends Arceus made it now where just kind of because in Sword and Shield, you couldn't just throw Pokeballs. You had to initiate a fight, and then you could choose to throw a Pokeball, or you fight and knock the Pokemon out. Arceus, you pretty much had the option. You could choose to throw a Pokeball first before you even engaged in fighting. And what was really cool about Legends is you could have groups of Pokemon all right there and just start flinging balls at them. Well, okay, that sounds a little weird. Just chunking Pokeballs at them. And you had the potential to catch, if you saw 5, you could immediately just bam, 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 hit 5 Pokemon with 5 Pokeballs and catch them, right? So it was really cool. That concept made its way over to Z to A, Legend Z to A, which I really enjoy. But one thing that they have expanded on and made better is that in Arceus, if you knocked out the Pokemon, you could not catch it. You done goofed, right? So if you came across a shiny and you're like, oh, I'm going to weaken it, and then you just one hit KO'd that bitch, it was gone forever. You just jacked up. Where Legend Z to A really improves on this is you are able to knock out a Pokemon because it makes sense. Logically, it makes sense, right? If you ever watch the anime or anything like that, if you made a Pokemon faint, it's going to sit there. It's there, right? We watched Ash, fry all kinds of Pokemon and then catch them with Pokeballs. So why couldn't you do that in the games, right? If you made a Pokemon faint, you lost your chance. But in Legend Z to A, that is no longer the issue. Now, to make it so you're not just laying waste to every Pokemon in the town, you only get one shot. If the Pokemon's fainted, you throw a Pokeball and it doesn't catch or whatever, it runs away. It gets away. And so I think that's a healthy or a good trade-off with allowing us to catch Pokemon that are fainted, but you only get one opportunity. So if it's a very important or a very rare Pokemon or something that you really want, you can weaken it and still throw Pokeballs at it to try to catch it that way, or you can risk making it faint and hoping it hits. And because a fainted Pokemon has still one of the greatest chances of being caught, but it isn't the end all be all of being caught, right? So I don't know, it was a really good concept that I think the Legends series expanded on and made better. Now, there are some things in the game I think there's some work on, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. As far as the story goes with Legends Z to A, you're a young adult, older teen that has come to Lumio City, to Lumio City. I don't know where I'm going with that accent, but you come to Lumio City to be there. I don't know. There's no reason for you to be there, and the game doesn't expand on why you've gone there for any. You just have shown up, I guess, for opportunity, for work, or your village was taken out by a legendary Pokemon and now you're out for revenge. There's nothing. Like, that's like the biggest pet peeve that I have of this game is there's no driving force of why you are there, but then you just kind of get drug along for someone else's story. Like that's almost kind of what it feels like story wise, is you're a part of someone else's story, but you're OP because you're gonna sit there and train your Pokemon up because you're not some little bitch. And I don't know, man. So like it feels weird. You meet a character named Tawny, or at least I played as a boy and I met a girl character named Tawny. I don't know what happens, but I do know if you play as a girl, you meet a boy character who looks very similar to the girl character, just different gender, right? They're like, hey, you should come hang out with me in my hotel of misfits and we should be really cool. And you're like, okay, I got nothing better to do, and a Pokemon stole my bag, so I need to get my bag back. And that's how you get your first Pokemon, is because this person's like, well, you can't just get your bag back, you got to fight this Pokemon to get your bag back. So here's a Pokemon, you choose which one you want. And you spend a lot of time trying to figure out which Pokemon you want to choose, why the Pokemon that stole your bag sits there and waits patiently. Anyway, through the story, though, you meet a team of people. Tawny, I can't remember the other two. One's a cool fashion dude, and the other one is a bubbly dance girl. And they're nice. Actually, like, they're really cool characters. I do like the characters in this game. But, like I said, I just don't know my motivation, right? Like, that's the thing. I'm just being drug along Tawny's story to find someone, which I've gotten to where where I am at in the game. No, okay, they do kind of reveal, but late game, like, she keeps it a secret, like, of who she's looking for, which, I mean, I guess, yeah, it's personal, right? But maybe it would help me help you if I knew that you were looking for your mom, because you do finally make reference to it when you talk about, like, her jacket that you wear and like the last message you heard from her or something like that. Like, just say that, because now it's more compelling, because now I'm like more interested because, oh, it's your mom that's missing, right? Like, it could have been anything. You're probably looking for a Pokemon for all I care. But like, tell me, get me interested in this story, guys. Like, that was the only thing. Where the game really shines, though, is the battling system now, because we all know, or most of us know, that Pokemon is a turn-based battling game. You go, your opponent goes, you go, your opponent goes. Depending on your Pokemon speed, that can affect some things. So, like, we've seen it all, right? We've all seen how the concept works. We saw in Legends Arceus, they added, like, powerful moves or quick moves. So that could give you the potential to be able to hit 2 turns in a row versus just one after the other. Well, in Legends Z to A now, we've gone away from the turn-based battling to a more action battling system, where you still have the 4 moves like you do in Pokemon, but now they have cooldowns. So, like, doing a move like Tackle, you got to wait like 3-4 seconds before you can use that move again. But not saying you can't use different moves. So I could hit, like, if I had Pikachu, I could hit with like a Tackle and then hit them right after with a Thunder Shock. And, then you got to wait for them to finish their cooldown. But moves like Quick Attack or things like that, their cooldowns are a lot less, like 3. And I think it's in seconds. So like Tackle is like a 4 or 5 second cooldown. Thunder Shock's like a 6 second cooldown. Quick Attack is only a 3 second cooldown. So although like the quicker moves do less damage, there's a benefit. So like, every 3 seconds I can hit with Quick Attack, which does like 30 damage. versus like Thundershock, which every 6 seconds does 50 damage. So like if you look at it, like it might be better to use multiple quick attacks than one Thundershock. But then, you know, if the Pokemon's weak to Thundershock, it's more like, so like those are things you think about as you're battling and as you're putting moves on your Pokemon to go into battle with, which I think is really cool. It adds a much more diverse layer of strategy in my mind to the game, and it being more action based makes it a lot more fun. Well, and another part of that, and what really helps make the action that more immersive, is you can move freely in the battle and your Pokemon will follow you loosely around the battlefield. What this allows you to do now is potentially dodge attacks or move out of the range of attacks, because their moves have ranges. Like an earthquake will hit out maybe like 10 feet from your Pokemon. But if you can move further away from that 10 feet and move out of the range of like I said, like an earthquake attack or anything like that, then you dodge that attack, which is kind of cool. I can't tell you how many times I try to sneak up and use an Ember, like a sniper, like use Ember because it shoots across, and then it burn out right in front of the Pokemon that I'm trying to attack, and just get frustrated. And then I get spotted by the other trainer, and then I get like ambushed. But it's fun. And like I said, the huge standout of Pokemon Legends Z to A is the battling system. I honestly, it seems like such a breath of fresh air. It feels more like the anime and like what a real life Pokemon battle would be like if we were really fighting like animals like this in the streets. So that's what I really enjoy about the game. Like, cause like, I mean, we all love the main titles, right? Like Red, Blue, Yellow, Diamond, Pearl, Sun, Moon, Black, White, all those games. We really love those games and the turn-based style of that. But you play those games and then you watch like the anime and you watch how they fight in the anime and how Pokemon respond and move around. And it's not like that in those mainline games. But in Legend Z to A, it's like that. So it's, to me, it is more in line to what you see in it, like in what you would be like in a real Pokemon battle and what it feels like in the anime. And that's what really makes me love this game a lot. Even though, like I said, I feel like the story is pretty weak, but it makes up for the weak story with the gameplay. Now, people have complained about this game graphically. I think I've just steeled myself to Pokemon has a style. Like Game Freak, the Nintendo company, and Pokemon have said this is Pokemon's style. We don't try to make it like look super expansive or like super detailed. We just let it be. I mean, like look at games like, what is it? Like Minecraft, you know, has a style. Like they don't go like, you can get mods for super realism or whatever, but it has like, it's not 2D, but like 8-bit style, and people love that game for it. And then Pokemon has its style, and people spear that game for that style. So like, I don't know. Like, I used to think the same thing though. I used to be like Pokemon, you're this massive company who makes billions of dollars, and your video games make you probably billions more. Excuse me, I need to drink some water. Why not make a crazy HD game with like all the awesome graphics with like Unreal Engine and things like that? But I think I've just kind of come to understand like that's not their style. That's not what they want to do. They could, but they don't want to. And in a way, you know, it does kind of, I mean, the Pokemon look great. Like maybe the field that you're in and the buildings that you're going through, yeah, they don't look like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, but the Pokemon are recognizable. The Pokemon look like they look like that you see in cards and anime and all that. So I guess for me, the graphics and how the game looks is not so much of a hit like it is on other people's reviews and things like that. I will say a lot of the buildings in the game, you can't go into like every building there, but you can go on top of every building, which is really cool. And that adds another layer to the game, because another criticism that I've seen of Legends Z to A is that it's a small map. It's only taking place in Lumio City and it's small. But I will tell you, from someone who walks across the map and doesn't fast travel a lot, it's not as small as these people make it out to be. And the added fact that you can go on top of buildings and there are Pokemon and things to battle on top of buildings only adds to the map, because it's not like, yeah, I have this circular map and the buildings take up 50% of it, and that, so you only get like 50% of playable area of this map. That's not the case. You get on top of these buildings and battle and catch Pokemon and find people to battle against as well. So you're still getting a full map worth of use. And I would argue, although it is smaller in size than Legends Arceus, I feel like I don't know, like it almost feels a little more fleshed out, because there are people there. There are other Pokemon just that you can't battle that are part of these people's lives, and so it feels more integrated. And so I enjoy that aspect of it. Yeah, would it be cool if they add like an outer area, a wild area that you could go to outside of the city? Yeah, that would be kind of neat. And what's not to say they can't do DLCs that take you outside of the city? There's potential for that. Not that they are going to do that, but like there's potential for that if they wanted to build on this game. But knowing the Pokemon Company and Game Freak, they don't build on existing titles. They just make new ones and make you pay full price for them. What else did I want to talk about with this? I glazed over the battle system, talked about kind of some of my pet peeves. Oh, I have some other things. Did talk about the gameplay style, love it. I did talk about how story is okay. It's not great. I just wish I knew my character's motivation a little bit more. I think that would have made things a lot better. There are some fun side quests which really flesh out the city, which make it really fun. And so the side quests are a lot of fun, and that's where you get a lot of your challenges from. Where like one of the side quests that I had hell doing was this guy wanted to see whose Pikachu was better, but his Pikachu was at a insanely high level. I think it was like 70 or like 65, something like that. And I had a Pikachu that evolved into a Raichu that was that, and you couldn't use that. You had to use a Pikachu and only one Pikachu. You couldn't have a team full of Pikachus. You could only use one Pikachu. So I had to catch a Pikachu, train it up to what I thought was high enough level, and then battle it, So like there are things to go that kind of drive you to do certain things, which I thought was really cool and really interesting, or catch certain Pokemon, alpha Pokemon, which are back in the game that you saw from Legends Arceus. So that was a lot of fun and things that I really enjoyed. Another big hit that a lot of people have brought up, and I kind of agree with it, is there's no voice acting in the game, which I kind of wish you got something out of it, or at least in cutscenes. Like you see that with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, you have cutscene voice acting, which is really cool, and I think that would be really neat to see, like, or at least even get like grunts or sounds of approval, like 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 something, like we don't get anything with the Pokemon games, which is kind of crazy. Talked about the catching Pokemon. I really enjoyed that. One thing that I didn't like that I loved from Arceus is the Pokédex. So you get a Pokédex in this game, and it fills out like a normal Pokédex from a mainline game. If you see a Pokemon, it adds that you've seen that Pokemon to your Pokédex with no data. If you catch a Pokemon, it gives you the data for that Pokemon. What Arceus did, which was really fantastic and made catching Pokemon a bigger priority and catching multiples of Pokemon a bigger priority, was that the Pokédex details were locked behind certain things that you had to do with said Pokemon. So you either had to make it use a specific move so many times, or catch so many versions of that Pokemon, or make it evolve so many times. And like that made sense for a research purpose. Now, I guess, back for Arceus, it was back in time, so they didn't have this information available. So like you were really discovering the Pokemon for the first time. But like, isn't that what a Pokédex is? It's for research purposes. So why not keep that in the game? Because it still works. It still would be fun. You still make a Pokemon use a specific move so many times, you evolve them, and you catch multiples of them. I wish they would have kept that aspect of the Pokédex from Arceus into ZA. But I guess, you're trying to do something new, and their similar approach, because they didn't completely scrap that idea, but they added it to actual research tasks that unlocked technical machines. So like new moves that you could teach your Pokemon were locked behind these research tasks. And so they weren't Pokemon based, but they were just like type based. So like, hey, catch X amount of ice Pokemon or bug Pokemon things, or make so many Pokemon evolve, or win so many battles, or do stuff with alpha Pokemon. Well, that sounds weird. Alpha Pokemon, or catch alpha Pokemon. So there are other ways that they've added the research aspect into the game. I just liked it better with the Pokédex because, one, it added way more of it, and I think they still could have kept the other aspects of it with the technical machine research part of it. I think they could have had both, because like the research that was involved with the technical machine wouldn't have made anything different for the Pokédex research that Arceus had. And I think it would have been a great way, one, to really extend the game a little bit more, and not really make it, I don't know. Maybe people complain that it drug down the game in Arceus. I really didn't think so. I thought it made it entertaining and made it a lot more fun to fill out your Pokédex that way by doing all these things to build your research and stuff like that. And in fact, kind of makes me want to go back to play Arceus some more, just to do some more of the research that, like, start over on Arceus just to do those research tasks. The other thing that I kind of down on, like the clothing options. Yes, there's quite a bit of options, but I kind of wish there was still more. Like, I wish there was way more customizations that you could do. I mean, you could do a lot of customization to your character compared to other Pokemon games, but to compare it to other games just out there, I kind of wish there was still more to the Legend Z to A. Talked about the exploration. So you can go on top of buildings, you can go around. There's scaffolding that you can climb around on, which is kind of fun because there's secret and special things on top of the scaffoldings. And it's not just like, oh, climb this ladder to the scaffolding. You have to jump across to other scaffolds, and sometimes you have to jump down to another area you couldn't reach from a different side. So like the scaffolding puzzles, what you would call them, are kind of really fun actually. And they're another way to get up onto certain rooftops that don't have easy access to get up to, which I thought was pretty neat and a cool idea. But it wasn't just tops of buildings and ground level. There's there's a tunnel system that you can enter that isn't like you have to like load into the tunnel system. You can't just walk straight into it, but it's fun, and there's different Pokemon down there, and it has a little bit of a different feeling. So it was kind of nice, and I enjoyed that area. The big thing as far as wild Pokemon go, so how do you catch wild Pokemon? If you haven't seen trailers or anything, there are wild zones, like so little areas that are fenced off that Pokemon are in that you can catch, which is kind of cool and really neat. As you progress through the game, more and more wild zones pop up, which me personally would think that would cause a lot of problems, because now my Dairy Queen or McDonald's is locked behind a wild zone with a level 65 Dragonite, and there ain't no way I'm getting a McDouble today. Right? But so like in the real world, I feel like this would be a problem. But in the game of Pokemon, it's really awesome and a lot of fun. So it's fun going to different areas to find different types of Pokemon. They even have like an ice area, like an area that they iced out, so you can get like that style of Pokemon and whatnot. There is like a waterish kind of, I wouldn't even say there's a water area, but there are areas that have water in them where you find water Pokemon. Excuse me. But it's cool. And then, like I said, when you're on top of buildings, like rooftops, there are wild Pokemon up there that you can catch that aren't behind wild zones, which is kind of interesting and cool because and even on the ground, like now that I think about it, there are certain animals that are just wild roaming around that you can catch in battle. So like, yeah, there are wild zones where I guess specific Pokemon that you want to look for will be at. But just overall, there are Pokemon just everywhere that you can catch, battle, and find. And it's kind of fun because some of them are aggressive and will attack you, and some of them aren't. So like something from Legends Arceus that was pulled to this game as well. Where this game really stands out from is the Mega Evolution battles that you do against wild Pokemon. So there are areas where basically you come across Mega Evolved Pokemon that you have to fight. But here's the thing, they attack you directly. So it's a really fun boss fight where you have to dodge Pokemon moves while also commanding your Pokemon to fight this super enlarged Mega Pokemon and whittle away its health down to where you can, well, I don't think you capture them, you just have to defeat them. It's a really cool thing that spun off of what Legends Arceus did. There were like 4 Pokemon that you had to fight. They weren't alpha. I can't remember what they were called, like enraged guardian Pokemon or whatever. So there's like these 4 guardian Pokemon in these certain areas that you had to battle against. And they were larger than life. They attacked you. You had to hit them though with like these special, they weren't Pokeballs, but they were essentially like Pokeballs, but to calm them. And then when you calm them, I think you were able to fight them with your Pokemon. I can't remember. It's been a while since I played Arceus. But in this game, in Legends Z to A, you are actively trying to battle them while they are trying to decimate you as a human, which makes it really fun and really entertaining. And so I had a lot of fun with that. And then what's great is in-game, like, so far, or at least what I've seen, it's not over. You can still find Mega Evolution Pokemon to fight that way. Like you go to this building and they have like, I guess, a simulator where you fight them that way or something. I don't know. But it's been fun. I've really enjoyed that aspect of it. And like the Mega evolving your Pokemon's been really cool too. And it's fun. I love the way it works. You build up Mega power by fighting. And then once it's full, you get to unleash it. It's like unlocking an ultimate attack or something like that. So it's a lot of fun. Overall though, man, I really enjoy Pokemon Legends Z to A. Like I said, it's so like the battle system is so different than any Pokemon game, but still has the familiarity of it. So like all your favorite attacks are there. There's nothing like crazy like, oh, this doesn't make sense. This is like a Final Fantasy attack. No. And what makes it even better is there's so many more fighting animations and things. So like I remember, like, you know, like Pokemon games, like the Pokemon uses the same animation over and over, but it does different moves. In this game, it feels like they have different animations for their different moves, which is really cool and a lot of fun. And like, you know, the weaknesses and resistances still work the same. You can make Pokemon flinch still, and that is very frustrating when you're fighting and then your Pokemon flinches, and so the move you told it to do, it doesn't do. And so that's a lot of fun. Like all the status effects are still there, so you can paralyze, poison. There's a new one in Infested where it's like a bug Pokemon poison move or something like that. And like, so your Pokemon's losing health constantly, whether you're in battle or not. So even if you're like, oh, let me just run away and run out of this zone to get away from battle, no, your Pokemon's still fainting or still being hurt. And so it's really, it's fun, man. It's interesting. I really enjoy it. So I get that there are criticisms with this game and I'm not blind to them. But I feel like Pokemon Legends Z to A has a lot more great things about it and fun things about it that don't make the bad that bad, or like it does. I don't dwell on the things that I'm like, man, I wish this game did it this way, or man, I wish this game was better this way. I honestly, the things that it does good are like make me like the game. Like I am playing the game, enjoying the things that it does well, and I can't help it, man. I'm having the time of my life playing this action style of Pokemon. I think it's great, man. I think it's fantastic. I would love if the mainline games, or at least like the Switch games mainline, stuck with this style. Like I get like Legends is kind of like, hey, let's try our different things. And I mean, we saw Scarlet and Violet build upon what Arceus did, right? And add some things to its gameplay. But I'm telling you, Z to A blows all that out of the water, man. If I could get Z to A's game style in Scarlet and Violet's world, I would be so ecstatic. That would be freaking amazing. One of my favorite things, I forgot to mention this because I just thought about it with like Scarlet and Violet. Say you're in a group and there's 5 Pokemon there and you want to fight one. Well, yeah, you can start fighting that Pokemon and then it turns into a one-on-one battle. All the other Pokemon like run away and now you're just fighting this Sandshrew that you found. And Z to A, if you find a group of 5 Pokemon and you attack one of them, homies bros are going to step up. And next thing you know, now you are fighting 5 Beedrill because you thought you would be cute and try to knock one out. And guess what? You didn't knock it out. And now they're all using their attacks at the same time on your poor little Turtwig that's just high enough level to take on one of them. And now you're trying to take on 5. And so it is fun, man. You have to be careful. So like, I might be trying to say like, oh shit, I see this shiny Pinsir that I want to check, but he's pretty close to this alpha Pokemon and I really don't want to aggro this alpha. And then sure enough, I get just close enough and I get spotted by this wild Pokemon and now I'm fighting for my life. I didn't even talk about like the trainer battles. Like there's no gyms, so it's not like a gym leader battle. You work, the cute thing about Pokemon Z to A is that you're entering a battle tournament and you start at rank Z and you're trying to work all the way to rank A, Pokemon Z to A. That's the reason why it's named that way. And so at night is when the trainer battles happen. So at night, specific areas lock down as battle areas and you go around, you earn points, and there's cool little cards that you pick up that you can earn extra points for by, battling or like using fighting moves so many times, or surprising opponents this way, or using super effective moves. So basically they give you ways to earn more points quicker by completing these tasks in the battle zones when they happen. And they only happen at night, so if you don't meet your point requirement by daybreak, then you don't get to advance to the next level because you didn't meet your quota, basically. And it's fun. It's enjoyable. I mean, the other trainers, they're not doing anything crazy, so it's not like, oh, wow, this is extremely hard. They're very predictable, and if you see a Pokemon, they're not going to have any move sets that are going to surprise you or shock you. So you have the option to really prepare. The Pokemon box system, super easy and convenient. It's right there at your fingertips. So like if I have my group and say I don't have any water Pokemon and I'm about to see a trainer and he clearly has a fire Pokemon because you can see what Pokemon they have out, then I can just go to the box, bring in my water Pokemon, go back to the game, and just start fighting with a water Pokemon. So it's real easy to switch out Pokemon, evolve, give them items. Like everything's super fast paced, super quick. Switching between Pokemon in a battle is quick and easy. I like it, man. It does take some time to get used to if you're not used to this style of combat. But when you are used to it and you're fully in it, it's a lot of fun. And I really enjoy it. But that's it, man. I need to get out of here. Dude, I've been talking for over an hour. I can't believe I've been talking this long. It's because I love this game and I've had so much fun with it. If I had to give it a review and a grade, of course, the Bry-Fy way, we're giving it a positive charge. Go check it out. I think it's a lot of fun, especially if you're a Pokemon, like mostly if you are a fan of Pokemon and you've played the games, you need to play this game. I think it's fantastic. If you've never really played a Pokemon game, I think this is closer to different types of games other than Pokemon, that it'd be a fun game to get into, and then maybe try some of the slower paced games is what I'm calling them from there. But anyway, that's all that I got for you guys this week. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast, which has been going on for a long time, over an hour. So if you've been here for over an hour, God bless you. Thank you all so much for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Bry-Fy out.